talk about green education in Ukraine, which could sound a bit strange, because as you know we're at war, at full-scale war. But despite this, we are thinking of green recovery. We are thinking of people, of new generation who will lead this green recovery, and we would like this new generation be as more expert as they can, so that this green recovery will be really green and will be really efficient. And that's where I stop misuse your attention, and I am with a great honor and pleasure present our our panelists. The first one is Svetlana. Actually, let me first present Ms. Victoria Kireeva, the person who inspired this project. And now we have Svetlana Sushko, the founder of the Green Academy initiative. We have Alex, representative of the International Academic Partnership, and we have Evgenia Kapitsa, Ukrainian expert on green education. Thank you for coming, and I believe this will be a really interesting discussion. Let me first start with a small talk question. One, maximum 2 sentences of the question. Let's imagine that I'm a skeptical person. I'm skeptical about green education, about all this green, so I'm somewhere outside this bubble, and you have, which obviously I am not, but let's imagine for the drama. So, what would you say to me in 1 maximum 2 sentences to convince that this is something Ukraine and maybe whole world really need?
Okay. I think if you will not pay enough attention and not put enough efforts in education of the next generation, we will have much more problems that we have now.
Thank you. I'm almost convinced, Evgenia.
I remember we were talking a lot about building forward. So building forward can't happen without people. Dot. And these people should share the committed vision of the green and sustainable building forward. Either it is in Ukraine or anywhere else in the world. If we don't invest in people, if we don't invest in youth, we are, well, planet will be fine, people will be not.
Great, sound logistic. And the last nail on my skepticism by Alex.
Ukraine represents the front lines of the security risks associated with climate change. And so if we do not incorporate combating climate change as part of the policies to build forward, sadly, the war in Ukraine will not be the last one that is funded by fossil fuel dictators. So the importance of this for our international security cannot be underscored, because what we do to rebuild Ukraine will set the example for other countries to move away from fossil fuels to ensure that our world can be more secure.
Right, thank you very much. So there is no skeptical person in this audience, I believe. And with that, let's start with the presentation of the project itself. And I am honored to ask Svetlana Sushko to do it. What is this project about?
Thank you very much, Andrei. I will stand because it's much more comfortable and easier for me, and I can see what to tell you, because then you can have also visualization of some slides where we will not have much more time to stop. But okay, let me check if it works. Yes, it works. So, dear visitors, dear guests, I'm very happy, pleasant and honored to talk today and present this initiative, which it's actually not just urgent need. I think, and my personal belief, that that's the only way how we can rebuild Ukraine, and not only Ukraine. In Ukraine, we found out that due to the full-scale war, a lot of professionals, a lot of people are now in need. So they are defending our homes, our lives. Someone had to leave their homes. So we actually losing a lot of experts. But also in meantime, while in Ukraine is full-scale war, the world is not standing. It's running dynamically, and the climate change also not waiting for some particular issues and the war to be solved. So it's dynamically developing, and within this, a lot of changes going on all over the world. Ukraine needs to know this all, to be active participant in all the world processes, and to be the active player on in a green agenda, as it's only way to survive for us. We also found out that more than 320 universities and research centers have been damaged or destroyed, and that's one more reason for us to think, what can we do now to change our tomorrow? So the suggested solution, it's some kind of platform, it's hub, it's community of people who have the same values and share the same values, and who can share now experience, knowledges, energy, time to put that in future generation, in our children, in our younger colleagues, not maybe younger, but the one who just want to know more about cross-sectoral climate issues, about what is really green and what the criteria of green, what is uniting us for the best future. Actually, this all is a base of this program. The team, a few words about team. Actually, already my colleague Andriy presented the former deputy minister who is leading that process. We have government advisors, we have narrow experts, but also experts with cross-sectoral expertise. We have researchers and scientists, and with this community, we believe that sharing absolutely different experiences, we might find the best solutions and to share knowledges for the main reason when these experts, participants of their program, will go to work in government, will go to work in business, will go to work as expert or in local community level, they can change the world with their green way of thinking. And but we will start from Ukraine. We will start to change Ukraine in the greener way. Yes, we can continue here. I will not go now for the long names, but just to tell you a few words. We spend a lot of time analyzing different approaches and models of educational systems now, and I must say that we have in Ukraine a lot of quite successful educational programs, but the need is much bigger. Mostly it's running running by business and for business, because business usually is first in this need, because for them it's directly depend on their income, which is logical. We would like to do it also for the government, to grow professional, to help people to find that information which is not in books, which is not in the universities. So we analyzed, made our report, and actually we would like to combine different models of education here, and we also took not only the let's say the system and the format, but also the values, which we found quite particularly for different like American models. It's more about bravery, leadership, critical thinking, debates, etc. What we would like to start to do, but also the European education, and we already found some exclusive experts who can share how systemic, institutionally memorized we can do this process. Okay, so actually for now, for start, we think that the most urgent, after discussions with different groups, we found out that the most urgent directions are actually climate diplomacy, climate negotiators, green recovery, just transition, European integration, industrial pollution prevention, leadership and communication. Unfortunately, the educational system in Ukraine needs to be improved much faster than it's happening in Ukraine. Well, it's logically because we are in war and we can't now the government can't put now all resources in this direction because we have much urgent issues. But still, these exactly core points which we would like to start from. Oh. So. The calculations which we got after analytical work to educate 50 participants for the first course will cost near $280,000, and we also did a little bit more calculation for each of 50 participants. We can hope that it can bring much more result for the country. What is particularly interesting about this program? It should consist from 3 stages. The first is fundamentals, some general knowledge about international commitments, about the rules which are going on in the climate and environmental sector, about European integration, European trends, and also about the need and cross-sectoral instrument of climate policy, which needs to be digging in all our life processes. The second stage, it's after the first general, basic, fundamental stage. The second is actually by choosing the clear direction, one direction which person wants to grow in, to be their professional. And only on the third stage, we think that without any practice, theory doesn't help us much. So the third stage is supposed to be the real practice in governmental institution, in businesses, industry, wherever it's needed, in local administration, in community, knowing and trying to do the studying as practical as possible. So that was a short introduction. I really believe that this initiative will grow in a big community, as we already know that many people who try to change something and make Ukraine better, they already are very interested to participate, and we invite everyone to join us.
Great, thank you very much, Svetlana, for this comprehensive presentation. Just one more clarification for me. When I hear the word academy, this is something about youth, about students. But can I apply, for instance? I mean, do you have any age borders?
No, we don't think about age border because it can be person who worked, I don't know, or now working in industry or in government. I don't know, after 45, but understand that it doesn't work anymore this way. It just doesn't work. You need to change, and we are happy to share that knowledge.
So everybody are welcome.
Yes.
Alex, the second question is for you. You are, as a person who works a lot with young leaders in climate policy, in governance, how do you think we can launch this communication, sharing experience between, let's say, Green Academy or maybe other institutions, such institution in Ukraine and in the US or maybe in Europe, on both on the level of students to share experience between let's call them students, and on the level of organizers like Svetlana, like Victoria, like maybe tutors that are like making all the process. So how can we launch this? And yes, and another part of this question: what mistakes do you can we avoid on this stage, considering your maybe experience?
No, thank you. This fits really well into how the Green Academy came to be. So, at elected officials to protect America and elected officials to protect the Earth on the international side, in partnership with the University of San Francisco, we run a public leadership certificate and master's degree. And within that, we bring lawmakers, NGOs, businesses, finance, and philanthropy together, and they form policy teams. And then the best policy competes for a prize to go implement. And as no surprise, well, I'm very much hoping the Green Academy wins this year's prize, but regardless, I'm confident it's launching into orbit. So what that means, though, is that program we have is an example of the cooperation that continue. So we bring folks together to on the leadership skills, so emotional intelligence, public leadership, value-based communications, empathy-based financing and marketing, right? And then reading body language and negotiation, and then we get into technical policy bits. Where this is an amazing supplement is we're not getting into the details of the policy and the training and the technical aspects needed to integrate, say, with the EU. But we'll provide the leadership skills to have folks have better skills to go there and negotiate, for instance. So it's a very supplementary and complementary to the program we're running. And in fact, those graduates from the Green Academy will be selecting a number of them to attend the Public Leadership Certificate program. The next one looks like it'll be at Oxford or the Washington, D.C. And so they'll get the experience of both. And if they want to continue, they can even get a master's degree. Those are the partnerships we can build with other institutions, right, across Europe and different places with the Green Academy, so it can help actually lead in other countries too.
Right, thank you very much for this insight about how it can work like transatlantic way. Evgenia, my question is maybe a bit wider than just about academy, but it's about academy as well. I don't know how like deep do you know Ukrainian education system, but still, when we are talking about green education in Ukraine, do we mean creating separate organizations for this green education, or do we mean to implement some green programs, green issues to all of the, let's say, educational institution in schools as well? I mean, like middle schools, and maybe such organization can be a driver of this process of implementing green issues in just common ordinary educational program. What do you think of it?
Yeah, thank you very much. And thank you for the question. And I have been quite into the higher educational sphere in Ukraine because I have been an associate professor of environmental law in Yaroslav National Law University for the previous 30 years. And I can quite relate to what are the challenges of the sustainable education, at least in the higher educational institutions, but not only, because I have been witnessing firsthand, as somebody who was teaching environmental law, to what extent the environmental consciousness is among the Ukraine's population and is not, and how much it shifted in 2019 when Greta Thunberg effect kicked in. So when you're asking about whether we need to have like the holistic approach or the separate one, I think the answer is super obvious. Like, can we do it alone? No. Like, can countries tackle climate crisis alone? No.
can we, because we have a number of fantastic initiatives already happening in Ukraine, and some of them were already referred in Ukraine's pavilion by the umbrella of UNDP, if I'm not mistaken, that have launched like the fantastic program already aimed at businesses. But we can't tackle, like it's kind of introducing the reform in Ukraine. When you're reforming one institution, you should be very, very, very naive to think that all of the other institutions would respond. The same comes to the green education. The same, because like there are some schools, and I actually checked the stats, in the European Union, only 48 students have an access to the green and sustainable education in the European Union. Not saying about like the Ukrainian context how it is. And this means that this topic is not streamlined across nations, across different countries, and across different institutions. So of course what we need to do is we need to have the it always goes two ways. Like it shouldn't be bottom up only. It can be topped down approach. And when we're talking about this kind of like Green Academy, it's not top down as it is. It is the initiative that should be supported and will be definitely supported by the people from the ground. Because I have been talking a lot with the students of mine, like since 2013, just that at first was so ironic about environmental related areas, saying that, of course, I'm not giving up like eating meat just because it is not sustainable. The time shifted, generation shifted, and they are ready to do that because there is like the clear understanding on the, for example, carbon footprint on the meat consumption. So you see it shifting, and it should be someone as a driver for that. And I think the Green Academy, these kind of initiative that would be like including the different stakeholders, would be streamlined across. This is must do because nobody can do that alone.
Yeah, thank you for this insight about like the place and the scheme or the whole educational scheme in Ukraine. That really like an answer. Svetlana, my next question is to you. As it's quite practical, and I can't not to ask it as a journalist. You've mentioned $280,000 to launch the project, but my question is, who will pay? Do you see it like an business investment project to turn investments from fees? Do you see it grants founding? Do you see like some state support? So what sources of financing or funding of this project do you foresee can work?
I'm a lawyer by my education, so my answer will be all sources according to law. Without jokes, I would say that we need to start from something. I don't have like a lot of expectation that it will fully run all directions with which we are talking about will work correctly, and we will have immediately all what we want to start going on. But if we start at least from one direction, it already makes the budget lower. If you start to find if you correctly explain why it's needed, then we start to actually find the partners, the donors, other initiatives, cooperation with other initiatives. And the biggest my dream, actually, it's when this organization should not do this, because state will have money and possibility to grow the next generation with all this education by itself. But for now, I don't think that it's the first priority for the state to put money from the budget, which now we all know where it's going, to put in this initiative. I'm not calculating on that.
Right, thank you. Sure, and this is something I would like to ask you as well, please.
And taking a bigger picture is when we look at how policies create investment, right? It's very easy to say, hey, we're going to build back, and I've used that purposely, build back, and put a centralized gas plant to heat a certain part of a city, because that's what we've done before. But the problem is gas prices make you dependent on other countries because sadly all the refineries have been destroyed. And the price fluctuates. And so when the price goes up, you end up spending tremendously more. And as a result, you could choose, for instance, closed loop geothermal. Or there's a new technology. It's not a laser, but it uses microwaves that have the same frequency as the rock to drill as deep as 12 miles. And that creates superheated geothermal, which can provide the steam necessary to heat the area. And so if folks aren't aware of that through the Green Academy and other places to educate that here are the possibilities that the investment that happens right now will result in a much more resilient and less expensive infrastructure in the future. And it doesn't even have to be, say, geothermal. It could be just distributed solar and others. So the point I'm making is without that knowledge that those technologies exist and are being made right now, Boston's implementing the closed loop in their systems to replace gas plants, the national NREL in the United States and Colorado is making a plant with the other one. These aren't futuristic possible things. They're things that can be implemented right now to build forward in Ukraine.
Thank you, Alex. This is something I would like to develop with you, but let me first check the device. I would like, this is another one question from a journalist. Of course, it's political one for you as for American. The question is, a lot of projects in Ukraine, like really effective project, are financed by grants, including grants from the US. And all we know about the USAID program, which Ukrainians very rely on. So there are plenty of programs, really needed programs, not only in Ukraine, but I'm talking about Ukraine because I really know it. And now we see this pause in USAID working. My question is, how can we defend ourselves from this, let's see, wobbly future, let's say, how we defend from changes of political weather in the US, let's say like this. Maybe not in the US, but we see some changes in Europe as well. So how can we defend ourselves not to be to rely on this finance from the other countries?
Well, what's happening in the U.S. is very much our responsibility, and we need to work on so that we don't have an unprecedented attack against our democracy and, frankly, the climate. The good news is, as the last elections in the United States showed, people do care. It was a very decisive victory for the candidates who care very much about Ukraine and the climate. In fact, electricity prices in New Jersey and Virginia were skyrocketing because of the policies that are backwards, the lightning coal and others, right? And so people felt it. And when they see these policies reflect in their daily lives, people vote for the people who do care about their well-being. And so I do think we'll see a shift in the United States moving forward where it'll be more stable. Because the one thing that might be unstable at the top, at the subnational level, the U.S. has been consistent. Governor Newsom was here earlier, and he said, we're committed as California, the fourth largest economy in the world, to be a consistent, stable, and reliable partner. And that has been true, right? So the subnational level, 8 out of the 10 states in the United States who have the most economic power are lean blue. 72% of the counties in the United States who have the most economic power, lean blue. So the stability is there on the subnational level. So to create resiliency, it's building those partnerships at that subnational state, city, oblast level to ensure that regardless of the roller coaster at the federal level, we continue to implement policies that will benefit both Ukraine, US, Europe, and the world, starting through the Green Academy.
Great, thank you very much for your optimism, of course, Svetlana.
I just want to add a little bit because I don't think that your question was only about money, who will pay for that. Actually, we all will pay for that. Because if the person after learning the theory part is going to practice, somebody also need to spend time. Time is the most valuable of what we have. I mean, as a team lead of RST, we did several people we took as volunteers and tried to teach them as a fellows. And I must say that sometimes it was easier to do by yourself than to spend hours and hours and hours. But then after 1-2 months, when you see that you just have time for much more to do, then you see really results. So I think when you ask about payment, it's not only about money, it's about time.
Exactly. Time is the great. Evgenia, you've mentioned about how the stance of Ukrainians for green, young Ukrainians, maybe elder Ukrainians for these green initiatives and green education has changed. Can we elaborate a bit more about this? Do you have any figures? Do you have maybe any facts? How is it changing? And maybe how can we attract people here? How can we make this green academia, or let's say wider green education, like fancy fashion?
How to make it new black, yes, new green.
Really.
Well, actually, I don't think that we need to do anything. I think that the appetite is already there. I think that from my communication, because I have been communicating a lot with the international students, and now Ukrainian use actually is international, and like from the common like usual talks, like people do understand and use does understand how important to have the knowledge about sustainable practices, how to understand like and to read what is ETS, what is CBAM, like what is like Paris aligned carbon markets. It is already there. They want to have it. They have like what they face is the lack of the efficient number of programs that are being offered for them. And actually, we just had this discussion like early on in Ukraine's pavilion at the youth representatives that have the fantastic like show up this year at COP. And this is so important to have youth speaking and being present in these international fora. They said, we really need it. We really need it. Just give it to us. Because they were just bits and pieces. For example, in my university, like we have the Sustainable Development and Environmental Protection Law Center, and we offered one of the first courses, actually the first course on European Green Deal in the Law University. But again, it's not enough. And I was telling about this course to people from the different universities that are not the legal university, not the law university. They were just, oh my gosh, can we join it? It's just like because they don't have it enough. So we have like a very clear, like division between environmental science, then law, then economy, then like the technical people, but they all need to have like the same access to this green knowledge. Because when we're talking about that, when there was a great study that showed that the green jobs, the reconstruction of Ukraine can create around 4 million green jobs. But even if not talking about the reconstruction of Ukraine, green jobs are creating the huge flow like into the Ukraine's economy. And as far as we're in the NDC pavilion, one thing that I wanted to bring you to the table, many countries and Ukraine as well is streamlining green education in their NDCs, because this is the foundation. This is one of the big parts of reaching net zero, reaching climate neutrality, but it is our obligation, legal obligation. So like, it's not that we are supposed to be that, but people do want this. Just give the youth that, and they would adapt it faster than we can be giving it to them.
It's really inspires. Thank you very much. I would like now to switch to the video, if we have one. The video is prepared by Global Compact Ukraine G360, which shows how business and communities together create a green future for Ukraine. If we have this video. Okay, let's wait for the video. But actually, what I've heard today make me really interested in what happened. I mean, I'm like honestly interested in the project and in everything you are saying, because it really it's like a foundation of what will happen. Because really, we every day here, not only here, we're talking about green recovery, green transition, and the question is who will do it, and this is the answer. So okay, let's play the video from the beginning. I'm sorry, with the sound.
When the world falls out of balance, chaos becomes the new normal. But this is the moment to act with intention. Welcome to the ESG 360 School. ESG stands for Environmental, Social, and Governance, a system of values that helps us understand how businesses shape the world. The environmental module explores how companies reduce their ecological footprint, conserve resources, and work for the future of our planet. The social module is about people and made for people. It's about equality and respect for everyone, about accessibility and equal opportunities no matter your gender, age, or experience. It's also about safe workplaces, fair conditions, education, and thriving communities. The governance module is about responsibility, transparency, and ethics in decision-making, because trust is the most valuable currency in business. At the ESG 360 School, you'll work with real-life cases, analyze business situations, and complete interactive tasks and quizzes to see how ESG principles work in practice. Step by step, module by module, your knowledge of ESG turns into real action. From chaos comes awareness, the driving force behind change. Join ESG 360, the first Ukrainian platform that makes ESG knowledge accessible to everyone.
Thank you very much, ESG 360. This is the time when
When the world falls out of balance, chaos becomes the new normal. But this
where I am supposed to start a day maybe session, but I've just seen footage of Ukrainian military in a context that everyone like welcome. And this leads me to the question, maybe for you, Svetlana, and for you, Evgenia, but Alex, I would like to hear if you have something to contribute. What about, this is something Ukraine really needs. I mean, there are, let's say, 1 million of militaries in Ukraine, which, and we will, in future, we will have to like integrate them back to the civil society, I mean, civil, not military society. So we have to help them find jobs, to educate them, re-educate them if needed. Do you, like, maybe not now, not on this stage, but do you think of the, like, some special approaches and programs for militaries who are back from the front line?
Well, actually, we didn't think about it. We didn't have this particular approach because we are following for the principle accessibility for everyone. But I think that this need might happen, and I think we will need a few brainstorming on this topic. And I know that this initiative you are saying now, they are already working, and as I know, the Ministry of Economy, Environment and Agriculture of Ukraine, sorry, too long name, is already doing a little bit of that with the Eco Ranger project. Not so long time ago it was announced, and there is a special role paying to the people who come in from the front line, from the military services, to integrate them, and the program is adapting for them in such a way that that job will be done by them the best, and nobody else would do it so good as them. So I think we might also think in that direction.
Do you have something to add? I mean, maybe.
Yeah, I think we have already started thinking about that, and like Alex would definitely elaborate on that, like a little bit more from his perspective as working with the veterans, like in the United States, U.S. Veterans, that have been quite like showing the high number of people. U.S. veterans involved in the clean and green industry and like sphere. I think we have already started about that. I did it for you girls, but because like I think that first of all, yeah, like Svetlana said, it's accessible platform, right? But there should be the additional promotion for that. But I already see that this is the trend that is happening in Ukraine now. Those veterans who are coming back from the battlefield, they want to be they need to be feel used, right? Like, feel useful in the new society. And I think green jobs, like, or the green understanding, like it's something that is the key for them to feel belonging to the society that is now recovering, or like feeling their role and benefit that they can bring to the society again, because we want like those people who spend the time on the front line, they want to be they want to contribute. And I think the perspectives of having the green knowledge and like the green skills as it is, again, we're coming back to stats. 4 million jobs should be created. The way how we can promote like this green academy among this social group of people, this can be like something that we should tailor like in the future, like development of this green academy. But I think it's definitely the integral part for them, and just and this is, I think that there is already the requirement, because I have met a number of people who would say that now we would be happy to start installing the solar panels, but it goes like beyond the solar panels. It was like more transformational, and these people as well, they have a lot of like deep expertise before going to the front line, and just like readapting, rechanging, like and making it applicable to the modern realities. I think that's easy to do, and it should be done with the help of the Green Academy. But Alex, I think that you are the best person.
Your contribution will be very valuable.
So, interestingly, the U.S. has done this, and we've learned from our mistakes. So after Vietnam, a lot of veterans came home to really nothing. And then we created the GI Bill, which gave an education to our veterans. And there was one of the most economically powerful things the United States ever did, because they got an education and they started paying more taxes. Because their incomes rose, right? So we educated an entire generation. And fast way forward, the University of San Francisco, that's the house for our public leadership certificate program. The master's degree and the certificate was originally designed for veterans who wanted to continue their service in another way, right? Their second service. And what we're seeing here is a wonderful opportunity to see that parallel with the Green Academy in Ukraine. Because a lot of the skills that you learn in the military are very transferable, right? And so particularly the leadership skills is what we're looking for. And that's very akin to what's happening with the academy here. So I can see that let's learn and pick up from the United States mistakes and see where we did this well and integrate it, right? There's a whole organization designed for veterans in clean energy called Vanguard Vets in the United States that particularly works with them and ties them in. There's the Atlantic Council's Veterans Program for Clean Energy, right? That's also bringing them together. So you could bring these organizations of veterans in clean energy together, and then maybe partner with the Green Academy and see where we can model some of that in Ukraine.
Great, thank you very much. I feel extremely of everything I've just heard from here. Have any questions? Analysts on the topic regarding
I think he was asking about questions from the audience.
yeah, that's right.
The mic disappeared.
Sorry. I'm asking, do someone of you have a question to our fantastic panelists? Okay, so the last question will be mine. It's it's like small talk question, like at the beginning. What one suggestion or recommendation would you give to a person that is starting its way on this green job path? Yes.
One,
You can do two.
I can do one. Put big goals, be ambitious. It's two.
Okay, right.
Stay strong. It would be a very complicated path forward, but very rewarding.
Thank you.
And creating purpose, right? A lot of veterans coming back from the battlefield, when they have another sense of purpose to help your country, it brings a sense of community again, and that sense of togetherness where we can build together forward.
I'm extremely thankful for this discussion. I'm extremely thankful for this initiative. I believe it will launch, it will run, and this is something Ukraine really needs. And we see that we have partners, that we have allies that can help us, that can teach their mistakes, so that we won't repeat.